So we've had the Switch 2 Direct. Just wanted to do a follow-up on my prediction video, and then just sort of like a casual chat about what we saw and what stood out to me and what I'm excited about. You know, a lot more was revealed than I thought would be, to be completely honest. There's some software in there that was quite surprising that I didn't expect to see at all, and I'm really excited about it. I can guarantee that I'm going to be there with my day one pre-order. I've had my email through to confirm that I have permission to pre-order it, which is fantastic. Hopefully sort of keep the consoles out of the hands of some of them scummy scalpers that come and pick up these things like the vultures they are, then sell them on to you at the high price of 3 times as much. So I'm actually for the whole email sort of pre-order thing. I think that could be a good sort of deterrent there, but we'll see. So they first showed us the Mario Kart World, which is like an open world Mario Kart, which I absolutely love this idea. You know, it's a fantastic concept. The idea of being able to go from one side of the map to the other and just open exploration within your kart. We're getting closer and closer to that Mario Grand Theft Auto. All we need now is just to be able to get out of the kart and stomp some Goombas and then jump back in the kart and drive off to the next area, which I think, again, is a doable idea. Maybe we might see that in the next 3D Mario game. An open world that you can drive around and explore in your kart. It's not out of the realms of possibility. And it very much reminded me of the old Lego Racers 2 game, which had a kind of a similar concept where you had this sort of like open world and you drive around in your car and then compete in races, but you could also find like NPCs around the map which would give you challenges and stuff, and then you do these challenges to unlock whatever thing you were collecting. I think it was like golden bricks or something. So I'd like to see that in this Mario Kart game. Looking, there were so many races there as well, some that seemed quite out of place. You had like a sidestepper, you had the dolphin, you had Moo the cow was there racing in the kart. Those kind of characters and stuff are not the kind of thing that I'd expect to unlock through race progression. I think they could be something in this open world. You go around the map and you can find these NPCs. Maybe you find Moo the cow, complete a challenge for that Moo the cow in the open world exploration thing, and then by doing that challenge you then unlock that sort of NPC racer. I like that idea. It really encourages players to kind of like make the most out of the exploring side of it, not just the racing side, and you get a little kind of casual reward. I don't think that many people are clamouring at the bit for a sidestepper to drive, you know, their car. So it's a nice little reward, along with, I presume, like kart cosmetics and stuff like that. They also showed off like these new power-ups. I'm interested to see how they work. Got your item boxes, but then you've also got these like power-up things which change the appearance of your character to represent whatever power-up they've picked up. Does that kind of like change how the items work in game? Does that change how you interact with the map, or what happens if you bash into other characters? I'm interested to see what differentiates these power-ups from items. So I'm excited to see what that does as well. So next they showed the game chat feature and the buttons on the controllers to access that. I really like this idea. I think it's a fantastic way to connect people while they're playing games without expecting somebody to also go out and purchase a headset in order to talk to the person they're playing with online. I think that's fantastic. I know a lot of people have kind of said, well, it's pretty much Discord chat, which is, I guess, yeah, but it's a thing of convenience, so you don't have to constantly keep your eye and swap between console and app. So I think it's brilliant. And it also kind of brings us one step closer to my Nintendo phone idea. We've now got the ability to talk to people all around the world on this like a phone. So keep your eye out on that. I think one day we will be getting the Nintendo phone console. It also showed off a new sort of camera. Big Brother Nintendo is now able to watch you within your own home. I like the idea of using it to interact with the games and stuff like that, but equally it's kind of already something we've had for quite a while now. You think about the Xbox Kinect and the PlayStation cameras. They've all had this concept of mixing video and games, and for whatever reason it didn't really work out for them, so you don't really see the Kinect and stuff sort of pushed as much anymore. Of course, Nintendo is pretty good at kind of fine-tuning these things, so who knows, maybe this is like a really good version of that, but it needs to be something unique in order to sort of stand out from what we've already got, outside of just being inside fantastic Nintendo games. Game share as well. I'm a big fan of this idea. I live in a household where we've all kind of got our own Switches. We've got a home console Switch, and then we've got Switch Lites as well, which we can kind of like take with us when we're on the move. I'm really interested by this idea, because we can now just buy one version of Mario Kart, and then we could technically all play it on our Switches. And I'm interested what the limits are on it as well. So like I said, we've got a home console, but then we've got 3 or 4 Switch lights as well, sort of laying around the place. So I'm wondering if you can kind of like get couch co-op 4 players on the home console Switch, and then the other players in the household can then join on their Switch lights, to maybe get it up to like 7 of us in the same room playing the same game at the same time. I'm really interested in that idea because I think that'd be fantastic. I obviously just need to find 7 friends first, but it's still, having the option's nice. It then kind of gave us a closer look at the console itself. Not entirely convinced on the mouse functions yet, but I'm going to talk about them a little bit later, because they showed them off in a game and it kind of just got me thinking a little bit about them. And it also showed off larger memory, which was something that the last Switch really did need. I'm always a little bit hesitant when it does go on about sort of larger memory sizes, because yes, while the console does have sort of a larger memory capacity, the new games that come out of it also take up a lot more of that space. So it actually turns out that you don't get as much extra space that you might think you would when they show these things off. Also, the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour game, some people are kind of like mocking it for just being, it's an intricate game manual, or it's a game manual you've got to pay for. But I actually really like the idea. It's not for me personally, but people that are really interested in the function of the hardware, this provides people with a fun way to kind of learn about the console and the intricate workings within the console. So I can see people being interested in this and using this maybe within schools and stuff to kind of like learn about the sort of engineering and stuff like that within that goes on within these consoles. They also showed off red game cartridges, and as every Warhammer fan will tell you, the red ones go faster. They also showed off Mario Party Jamboree. Jamboree itself is still a fairly new game, so I can understand why they've kind of gone the route of just providing an update rather than a whole new Mario Party game. I think that's quite fair. And the amount of content they've also sort of shown is quite a substantial amount, I'd say, as well. And I think it's brilliant that it also allows you to kind of upgrade your existing software. This is the game that kind of had me thinking and ahhing about the mousepad controls. As I was watching the Mario Party thing, and they've got the Carnival Coaster Ride, which is the sort of game mode that they've designed to go in line with these new mouse pads. But I was watching it, and everything that they were doing was just something you can already do with the Joy-Con. Just you can aim with the Joy-Con, you can move, you can pull things down with the Joy-Cons already. It was adding absolutely nothing new. If anything, it was kind of making it less convenient, because obviously with the Joy-Con you can just hold it in your hand and you can use it. With these mouse pads, you also need a surface to sort of use them on. So it's I don't know, to me it just seems like it's a less convenient way to already use Joy-Con motion controls. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there is something somewhere that it really works for. But at the moment I'm kind of not really seeing it. Updates and new content for Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and then also Kirby Forgotten Land. That looked pretty cool. Specifically the Kirby stuff in the Direct showed a whole new sort of kind of like level or world you can explore and complete. The Zelda stuff in the Direct, initially I wasn't that interested in it. It was got sort of quality of life updates, it explained the app notes and things like that, but it wasn't enough to kind of re-interest me in going back just for the increased graphics and that sort of stuff. But then after the Direct, they revealed a longer look at the Zelda stuff, an in-depth sort of look at what the new content is. And it showed off more than was in the Direct, actually. So it wasn't just the notes, you've also got voice notes and things that you can find around maps. So there's actual new content within the game. It also really makes finding Koroks and things a lot easier. By linking it to your phone, you can basically use it to track all these things, which can be quite time consuming. And maybe not everybody wants to spend hours and hours and hours hunting 900 or whatever Koroks it is. While I did it in Breath of the Wild, I gave up again in Tears of the Kingdom. But looking at this, it interests me in maybe coming back and actually doing the Koroks, because it does make it easier and a lot more sort of fun and doable, rather than just wandering around for ages, either wearing a Korok mask or trying to use some guide thing, which isn't always great, especially if you've failed to tick off which Korok seeds you've already got, and so you just end up going back over yourself over and over again. The reveal of new amiibos as well was in this addendum to the Direct. It's always brilliant to get some more amiibos. I love me my little models and things, so that's good. The Dragon Drive game they showed off, I really like the concept. I'm not really a sports game myself, so it's not really something that I can see myself playing. Again, showed off sort of more uses of that mouse function. Again, I'm still not convinced. Even watching this, you can still do that motion with the Joy-Cons. You can already do that. I don't know. I don't see the appeal in having to kind of like rub your Joy-Cons on something, or rub them on your lap or something when you're trying to move your chair around, rather than just being able to do it with the Joy-Cons, which it was using the Joy-Con motion control anyway. You can wave and use your hand motions or whatever with it still. Again, maybe I'm missing something here though. I must be, surely, because there's quite a bit of focus on these sort of mousepad functions. So maybe it is just going over my head and I'm the one, that's missing the point here with these things. They also showed Elden Ring. Honestly, beautiful game. Really happy that it's coming to the Switch. From Software is a fantastic developer. I've already played Elden Ring on the Xbox. That's where I've played it. But I am tempted to get it again on the Switch. I would love a handheld version. I'd love to be able to carry it around with me and take it to places. It's such a big and beautiful game. I have no problems picking up and playing that again. Another surprise reveal was the Hyrule Warriors game, a sequel to Age of Calamity. The Imprisoned in War, again, I'm very interested in that. I absolutely love the Hyrule Warriors series. I will say I still have a soft spot for the first game. I really liked how fun it was and engaging, and all these different mishmash of characters, and it was bright and it was colourful and it was fantastic. I did enjoy Age of Calamity. I wouldn't say as much though. I did find just being stuck in one setting got a little bit old towards the end, because obviously there's so much you can do in that game, so you can really can spend just hours and hours and hours and hours just grinding through things, which I usually like to do in these sort of games. And it's nice to be able to have a bit of variety for me personally in the visuals and stuff, which Age of Calamity, obviously being set in one period, one game technically, we didn't get that as much, but I still absolutely love playing it. It's a great multiplayer couch co-op game for me. So you bet you're going to be grabbing this one straight away. It looks to be somewhat more of the same. Probably some new sort of stuff in there, new attacks, new maybe combos and stuff. I'm interested to see whether this one turns out to be canon or not. Is it actually going to be the story of the Imprisoned in War, or is a time-travelling egg going to jump out of the sky again and it becomes its own thing? I guess to play it and find out again. There was a lot of speculation around the last game. I imagine the same sort of thing is going to be happening with this one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The next thing kind of bothered me that I want to talk about is the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube reveal. And it's only annoyed me because I had that written in my script for my prediction video. And that was the one section that I took out because I was rushing to get it out before the Direct. And so, I was kicking, so I was like, I should have left that bit in there, but I really had no time. I had to cut something, and that was the one thing that I decided to cut, because I thought, oh no, maybe they would have shown that in the regular Switch Direct, maybe. So obviously, I was really happy to see it. I'm so excited that I've wanted this for quite a while. Finally getting Wind Waker, which is a game I've really wanted to play. I haven't got a Wii U anymore, unfortunately. I've only got the Switch. So being able to play that again, I'm really excited for. I know a lot of people prefer the quality of life updates in the Wii U, the HD version. I'm a little bit curious whether in the GameCube library on the Switch Online, when you watch the Direct, it did say that this game has got improved graphics. So it's scaled to sort of high definition and that sort of stuff. So I'm wondering if maybe they might reveal or have like a quality of life version of the game as well. Like if usually on the Nintendo Switch Online library, sometimes you can get multiple versions of the same game, so you can get like the European version and the US version. I wonder if maybe they've got like a quality of life update version in the library for this. Maybe not, because again it would be a game that they could reveal or release later on as a yet another HD, or in maybe a Nintendo Switch Online Wii U, which we may well get with Nintendo Switch 3, I don't know. But either way, I'm really happy to see all these GameCube games on there, specifically because GameCube games are quite difficult to play as well. They're really expensive nowadays. If you do have a GameCube and you want to play the games on it and you don't have the game, to buy them pre-owned, the prices have gone up surprisingly. So having them all conveniently in this one library, it's going to encourage people to play the games that they probably wouldn't want to play or wouldn't be able to justify expending that amount of money on buying on the GameCube nowadays. So really happy about that. Back to Wind Waker, I'm curious, are they going to incorporate the Tingle tuner in this? You know, we've got a Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online. Is there a way that you can, if you've got a second Switch or something, you can maybe use it as a Tingle tuner? I'd like to see that. As one of my favourite memories is me playing Wind Waker and forcing my poor cousin to sit there on the Game Boy Advance being the Tingle tuner while I got to play the fun parts. So it'd be a good to revisit that. So my favourite part about the whole Direct was the reveal of Duskbloods, which is another From Software game. It really came out, I know I was not expecting a Switch 2 exclusive From Software game to be revealed. That was not on my list at all, so I was really excited to see that. It very much looks like a Bloodborne successor, but with added dinosaurs and trains, which is of course a plus. A lot of people have been clamouring for a Bloodborne re-release, so this looks like the best that they're going to get from those looking for that sort of thing. Sony own the IP for Bloodborne, so From Software can't actually make another Bloodborne game without their permission. So it's great that Nintendo Switch is now basically getting its own version of of these kind of games exclusive to it. It's an iconic game studio. I love all of their games. I'm really excited for this. I really am. Definitely my most hyped thing. So the other stuff in the Direct, there was a lot in there. I'm not going to go into all of it. Not all of it really interested me. I've got what I like and what I don't like. I don't really understand all of the hardware and processing sort of stuff when it comes to frames per second and all that sort of stuff. You know, I'm not so interested in the journey of the console rather than the end product. So as long as it looks pretty and it plays well and it's a fun game, that's all I care about. I don't particularly care about playing it in its most resolute form, as long as it's playable. So the last sort of announcement they did was a Donkey Kong Bonanza, something like that. It's good to get a new 3D Donkey Kong game. I've really been hoping that Nintendo Switch Online was going to bring Donkey Kong 64 to the library, which it hasn't done yet, which is a shame because I'm really clamouring for some more of that DK rap. I'm foaming at the mouth for it. Peak music right there. But this new Donkey Kong game looks really fun. I'm still not overly keen on the new sort of design base. It's very much like his movie sort of design. I've not warmed to that quite yet, but he's such a fun character, so I'm really looking forward to this game. You can literally smash your way through the world and stuff like that. It's a character that's got so much personality and is always associated with some good humour. The only thing I will say in the game is Lanky Kong better be making an appearance. He's long overdue a return. So Lanky Kong please, Nintendo. So in terms to my previous video, which I made my predictions, I was wrong about nearly all of them. Didn't get a new 3D Mario, didn't get a new Animal Crossing announcement, didn't get a 1-2 Switch announcement, didn't even get a mainline Zelda tease at the end, which I thought we would have got. The only thing I did get right in my prediction was the GameCube announcement, which is the one thing I omitted from the video, and so it's not even in there. Oh well, can't wait to see what they bring out next. I'm definitely going to stay tuned to all this sort of stuff. Thank you for watching these videos, and I can't wait to see what happens next.